In the fall in America, we give thanks for the abundance we receive throughout the year at Thanksgiving. The growing seasons have ended and the harvest brings abundance. The Native Americans always gave thanks for each harvest and for each hunt, and showed gratitude for the life they took in order to feed themselves and their families. But how many of us give thanks all year round? Thankfulness is an appreciation for yourself and others. It helps bring in clarity of thought and reminds others they have a choice to give thanks and focus on the positive. Spirit says, nothing is given to us until it is earned. When we do the work on our own self-love, growth, and expansion, we show the universe we are serious about positive change. The spirit realm can only meet you halfway. They need you to do the work so they can assist and honor you. It's not enough to simply ask for their help. You must honor yourself first. A thankful heart not only lifts your vibration, but attracts and uplifts those around you. Being ungrateful only holds you and others back from advancing. Many see positive traits as complete and utter woo-woo. However, these people do not understand the value of being thankful. They would much prefer to play their role in negative ways. When we give thanks and respect for ourselves and others, we show the universe that we are serious creators who crave real change in our lives and in the world. Many of us will be sitting down with family and friends this season. How will you show your gratitude? There are some who will spend this time alone, and loneliness can be experienced even with people around you. Find the positive in your situation. Give thanks for the little things, no matter how small. When we do this, we shift our energy, and we realize negativity takes more energy. But being thankful elevates our vibration to healthy levels. This year, begin by offering a toast at your table and ask each person what they are thankful for. You may be surprised at their answers. Show others your love and light, and make being thankful a positive reflection of the infinite love and the divine light you truly are. Be the highest version of yourself and be thankful for all you are. Woohoo! Well said. If I do say so myself.
Well done.
Hey, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. It's good to have everybody with us tonight. We have a small panel, although Dalibor is here in spirit and he does have a contribution tonight. So that's really cool. I gotta like that. But yeah, we were talking about thankfulness and how important thankfulness is, really. There's so many out there that take things for granted. And when you express how thankful you are about anything yourself, it could be breathing the air, it could be just the littlest thing. How important is that? So tonight we have Teresa with us. Thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Sophia, the woo-woo wild bird wisdom gal. Good to have you with us as well. So yeah, it's just kind of us tonight. We're hanging out. Let's say hello to everybody in chat real quick. Looks like people are still kind of coming in. Hi, Chloe. It's good to have you with us. Thank you. Thank you. Lucky Stone, always a pleasure. I love seeing you in here. Thank you for your love and support. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see. Scotty Boy, good to see you as well. Always love having you here. You're a welcome change. Love your sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, whoever else is out there watching doesn't really want to chat, but just kind of see what we're up to. It's all good. Go ahead, Sophia. You were going to say something?
I wanted to say hi to Sophia Rodriguez. Good to see you in here. I'm glad you could make it.
One love, sister.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome, Sophia. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to have you with us. Welcome.
Charles may be rolling in here in a little bit too.
Right on. Love Charles.
Yeah.
Love Charles. Would love to get him
yeah.
back on too, anytime.
Yes. Yes.
Love
We
his
won't.
profile picture on Facebook. Oh my God,
Yeah, he's a nice looking guy, isn't he?
what a cameo!
I love him. Oh, he's here. He hears us.
There he is. What's up,
Oh,
buddy?
we've been talking about you, Charles. Cool. Yeah. Right
Nice.
on.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, Chloe, Mary Wynn's might come in tonight, might not. She's feeling a little under the weather. Some people know her predicament, so we send all love, light, and healing energy to Mary Wynn's,
Sending
our
healing to
beautiful,
Mary Wins.
our
Yeah.
beautiful, reliable moderator. we can really love Mary.
All our moderators are wonderful.
So Mary, if you're listening, God bless you. We miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought we would just go ahead and start tonight with Dalabor's input. Even though Dalabor's not with us in the physical, he's still contributing and he's
That's
still
right.
with us in spirit. And tonight he wanted to talk about the scientific benefits and reasons why being thankful and having attitude of gratitude is so important to you on a physiological level. And I, Teresa, you two came up with this website, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that really quick.
Yeah, it's one of
Share
the
it
websites
here.
we visited a few of them. We were
Hang on.
tracing
Yeah.
for the past couple of years, tracing biological, physiological aspects of a lot of the it's the science behind the spiritual,
Right.
and
But
it was in our journal. Yeah.
yeah, so I went through that and really looked at the website, and it's a fantastic website. If you're coming into a spiritual awakening, you want to know more about where to start, this is an excellent, excellent place to get some information. So that's in the description. That's here on the screen, and it's also in the chat room in case you want to click on that. But yeah, it's well worth checking out, and it gives you some great hints and things to think about. Let me remove this really quick. We don't need that anymore. So it's called The Healing Power of Gratitude.
Yeah.
So Dalibor says, research shows that people who practice gratitude feel happier and more positive, awake, aware, and self-satisfied. Gratitude has been shown to help improve mood and combat anxiety and depression. Research shows that gratitude releases serotonin and dopamine and the happiness and reward chemicals in your brain. So there's a positive reason for that. When we practice gratitude, we are essentially strengthening the neural pathways of the contentment and happiness. And these pathways can build lasting characteristics. So gratitude helps with anxiety by interrupting the cycle of constantly scanning for dangers. And when we are in fear or scarcity mode, or our brain turns on the FFF response, fear flight response. But when we think of gratitude, research shows that the hippocampus and the amygdala are activated. Now, these parts of the brain aid in emotional regulation, and they can help turn on that feeling of safety, contentment, and calm, that feeling of abundance. Basically, gratitude practice is a way to regulate the autonomic nervous system, and gratitude can turn on the parasympathetic response and reduce the stress hormones like cortisol. When we regulate the nervous system, that has a big impact on reducing the symptoms of depression and anxiety. I just thought that was amazing. Thank you, Dalibor, for contributing that, because there really is a lot to it. And I know that one of the first things I learned when I was going through my ascension process in the early times, not only was it not focusing on anything negative and focusing on positive things, but it was find ways to be grateful and thankful for everything.
Yeah.
The roof over your head, the food in your stomach, the simple things, anything to give yourself gratitude. Now, Teresa, I know a while back you were kind of having a rough time there. You were stuck outside. Your keys were not where they were supposed to be, and you had a situation. We don't have to go really deep into it, but
So,
you could talk about a little bit about how you were in a certain mindset and you had every reason to be upset. You had every reason to have anger and be mad, but how laughter and positive energy shifted your energy and you reacted to the situation in a whole different manner. And I thought maybe you could speak on that.
Well,
personal experience, you know.
Yeah, sure. Well, I have an older brother who lives with me sometimes, and he works. He stays at job sites where he can not have to commute back all the way back here into the country, you know. And so he saves on a lot of wear and tear. And there's times when he borrows the Honda and I keep the truck. So we switch off and on depending on the business needs as to whether he needs the truck or not, you know. And he had the wrong set of keys on the key ring that looked like my house keys. So I can understand now why he did what he did, but it's frustrating because I keep making spare keys and he keeps losing keys. He lost the whole set of keys to the RV. I try getting on your RV when you have no keys. So it's just been a cumulative thing that's been going on. And it annoys me to no end. And it was cold out the other night and I took Ruby out front for her little walk. And I don't take the keys with me usually when I just step out front, but I myself didn't leave the door unlocked because I don't think it's safe anyway. So I didn't have my keys, my lanyard that goes around my neck. So I grabbed the keys he left for me on the table, which was supposed to be my house keys and the truck key, right? So I go outside, I walk Ruby, I'm ready to come back inside. I don't have a coat on because I wasn't going to be out there that long. All I had was a thin sweater. And I'm telling you, I could not get in my house. I could not unlock the door. And the spare keys that I kept under a rock in the garden aren't there anymore because he's been through about 3 of them now because he keeps losing them. And I went and I can't get into my backyard because I'm in a townhouse that's smacked between 2 other townhouses and those people were sleeping. And they have kids, so I couldn't very well disrupt them. So the anger was building, you see. The frustration and the anger was building. And here I am outside with a dog. It's like 10:30 at night when Lori? It was late.
Yeah, it was late.
And my brother was staying in D.C. because they had been to a party, you know, and I was just livid. I'm like, I just, everything I could possibly think of was rising within me about my brother. And I was just so angry. And I wanted to just wring his neck. I was so angry. And I was texting with Lori and I'm like, well, now I've gone and done it. I can't get back into my house. It's 10:30 at night. He's in DC with the keys to my house. I can't wake the neighbors up. They wouldn't have been able to help me anyway, short of breaking a window. What the am I going to do? You know? So we just started making jokes about the situation and Lori kind of laughed me out of it. So it was a laugh cry kind of thing. And but then I started, you know, I thought of different things I was going to say to him when I finally got a hold of him. And I had texted him and he responded to my text. He goes, "You're kidding me. What are you doing out there at that time of night anyway?" I said, "That's none of your business. I was walking my dog. Why didn't you put the right keys on the damn keychain?" You know? So, but I told Lori, I said, I'm going to rip him a new one when he gets here because I insisted that he come from DC all the way back to Damascus to let me into my house and bring me the car and the right set of keys. You know, I was justifiably angry, but I had all these scenarios in my head about what kind of fight we were going to have because I know his personality and I know how he gaslights and tries to put everything back on you instead of accepting responsibility. So I knew it was going to come to blows. And I was letting that consume my thoughts. And so by using the humor, I was able to let go of the anxiety, breathe better, raise my vibes, so that I was vibrating at a completely different level. When he did arrive, I was able to flip the script and find a way to not be confrontational with him or rub his nose in it or rub his face in it, and to give him, everybody makes mistakes kind of thing. He makes a lot. He never seems to learn from them. But I just kind of like let it go. So I even sat there saying, I'm letting it go. And Lori and I were, she was helping me with that. And I was just like, I'm letting it go. And so by the time he got here, I was over the worst of it. And he unlocked, and I grabbed the keys from him. I unlocked the front door. And I just kept my distance from him. That's another thing I did. I kept my distance because I knew if I didn't do that,
it might be triggered.
It might be triggered. And if I said anything to him,
he might be
triggered because he had been drinking too.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was trying to sleep it off at the other place, and I woke him up in a sound sleep, and he had to drive all the way from DC out here, and it took him a good hour to get here. So why throw fuel on the fire? What good would it serve? What purpose would it serve? So I started asking myself, why is this bothering me so much? Why am I so angry? Anyway, but it brought me to a point where I was able to look at it of all the good things he's done for me instead of all the bad things. So it's like every time I have an accident, he's the first one to show up at the hospital. When I was little, different people tried to do things to me, and he would always step in and interfere. I'll never forget the time he took little Sammy Knowles and hung him up on a fence and threatened him, if you ever bite my sister in the face again, if you ever bite her in the eye again, I'm going to skin you alive. You understand? And he scared the hell out of this kid. And the kid never touched me again. He showed up on the high school campus. Mm-hmm. And stood there leaning against his sports car with his arms folded, staring down this guy that was harassing me at school, and confronted him. He couldn't come onto the campus, but he waited until the guy got off campus, and then he really gave him a hard time. So all the things, we have a tendency, I think, to take the worst case scenarios or the worst situations and focus on all that negative energy. And thankfulness and gratitude allows you to release those memories, and it allows you to find what's good about the person or good about the situation. What have you gained from it over time? And so I speculated on it for at least 2 days after, and I was able to, forgive him and offer thankfiving and gratitude for everything he's done for me.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this. How would you in the past have reacted? Typically, how would that...
You don't want to know.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. How would that scenario, that have played out? Had you...
Look, I am from a Roman Catholic Irish Italian family.
Oh, crap.
There are certain traits in a combination of the Irish and the Italian.
Okay.
I would have probably not gotten physical, but I probably would have just dressed him down for every mistake and every wrongdoing that he's ever made. I would have thrown up, because that's how he handles a situation, is he brings up the worst in you.
Mm-hmm.
It gets insulting. So it would have been a shouting match. I would have awakened half the neighbors probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have cussed him out. Curse words would have been, I would have been Little Miss Potty Mouth.
Mm-hmm.
With fists clenched.
Mm-hmm. So what you did is you lifted your vibration. You were able to shift from that energy, which is really important for people that are into that ascension. And even if you're not into ascension, it's just the reason I say ascension is because it is about lifting your vibration, and it is ascension. and this new age and what we're all going through. And it's so important to really understand how that energy works. If
Yeah.
you're going to be negative, if you're going to find fault in everyone and yourself, if you can't forgive yourself, if you can't move past that kind of stuff, you don't learn and grow and become something new. And that's what it's all about, is expansion and becoming something new and a better version of yourself. Wouldn't you agree, Sophia?
100%. Yeah. I feel, well, a lot of what Teresa says, a lot of what the notes that I had brought forward, but yeah, our reality is in our control if only we employ the positive, for lack of a better word, coping skills that come along with staying in a thankful and grateful mindset, especially when our culture is like, oh, is this wrong with your life? Do this. Is this wrong with your life? Do that. You know, like the retail therapy, you know, it can become a vicious cycle. And that's why I'm very grateful and thankful for this platform, this group of souls, because when life happens, you know, and we end up going up and down the frequency and vibration of emotions, you know, trying to settle back in, it's important to have people that love you for who you are. They don't expect you to be someone that you're not. And sometimes they're just happy that you're there. You don't have to contribute to be of value. Is it my turn? Because I have notes.
Yeah, you
Okay,
go right
cool.
ahead.
Here we
First of
go.
all, I'd like to acknowledge Jargo Smith. Haven't seen you before. Glad to have you here and participating in chat. And this person says, so Sophia, if everyone has a blue wrench, then you are in the realm of free speech.
Yeah.
That's one way to say
I've seen Jargo before, and
have you?
And on Facebook too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I haven't. So
but
glad
before
to have you,
Sophia, before you jump in, Sophia, the thing that was unique and different about that situation is the ability to do it while it's happening.
That's an art form sometimes.
That's a freaking tough thing to do. And and I've been practicing
it. The ego's going, wait a minute, you're wrong. You did this to me. It's your fault.
I've been doing it in a kind of post-mortem way, but what's happening is by practicing Thanksgiving and gratitude and learning from that, it's starting to come into my awareness to the point where while I was going through something, I was able to flip it. So that's what was different. But go ahead with your.
Okay. So, a lot like the intro said, nailed it completely. Thankfulness, I would say some of the brothers and other words, sisters, would be appreciation, gratitude. And I really like what Teresa and Lori were saying, is because if you're mindful of what you're experiencing and how you're influencing the places, the spaces, and the people around you, because when you're, I'm not 100% focused right now. Forgive me. Thank you for your patience. But when you take, thanks. When you take a conscious approach to your thankfulness and your appreciation, you hold a higher frequency. And I would say that I've seen that demonstrated time and time again with people that have navigated like life altering changes and have decided, you know, after rolling and reeling and railing, you know, against the situation, are like, you know, I'm going to thrive just for spite. You know, I'm going to get up and put a smile on my face because no one around me is going to expect that. You know, you get tired of being in that vibration. It's like eating the same ice cream or the same cake. You know, you eat it so much, you're like, you know, where's the apple pie? You know, let's do something a little different. And I feel that gratefulness and appreciation, you know, that's the type of energy that's just going to facilitate better situations with the law of attraction. Okay. I'm rambling just a scotch. Love you people. Thanks for putting up with me. My approach to thankfulness personally It's a building process. So this time of year can be especially challenging for me because the Norman Rockwell scene has never facilitated, it never manifested in my life. The happiness that I hold on to this time of year is because I focus on the people that I have in my life and I focus on the positivity. So it's a building. I have to build, like, opening work and closing work. So for me, opening work is a list of affirmations that resonate with each energy signature, each chakra, and remind myself who I am before social media or somebody who's unbalanced comes across my path, because I
Mm-hmm.
can't give it if I can't hold it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Let's see. And when I really get a loop de loo, like when someone just sideswipes me, because it happens. Sometimes I have to start from the very bottom, be like, I can feed myself, I can dress myself, I have a vehicle, build it up, um, just to kind of push a reset button. Um, and then claim my right, especially in this country, especially that people died for me to have the right to speak my mind, to speak my truth. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that, staying in a state of thankfulness, starts with I am, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever appropriate word goes behind that to help remind myself, what I'm observing. It's a choice if I allow it to be my reality most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then realizing, if I'm having a whatever kind of day, um, employ the music. What's my favorite upbeat song? What makes me smile? For me, it can be a certain kind of incense. It can be working with a certain altar, meditating. Whatever, active meditating generally works best to bring my frequency back up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, I love this. This was spirit. Thank you. Um, what I do, and this is being a little transparent and vulnerable, but if it's going to help one person, let's go.
Yep.
Um, but creating my own sacred space, whatever that is, if that is a documentary on the earth and my Oreos, then that's what it is. If it's like, I like Jeff Dunham, 'cause he doesn't care, and
Mm-hmm.
Walter's funny. So is Peanut, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, what do I want to experience? Because for most of my life, I just accepted people treating me like garbage. And it's hard to stay in
Mm-hmm.
frequency of appreciation, gratitude, and thankfulness when you're being bombarded or allowing people to bombard you with their poor cognitive skills and their negativity,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, or and sometimes successfully, but not anymore, putting their problems on me. And while I love those people, I didn't realize how toxic it was until I got away from them. I can
Mm-hmm.
still be
Mm-hmm.
grateful and thankful for the lesson and the experience so I can relate to somebody down the road, but I don't have to stay in that anymore. I
No.
know my value. I know my worth, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, finally, we're getting to the bottom of it because I can ramble.
You're good,
Um,
Sophia. Ramble all you want.
Aw, thanks, Lori. Love you.
I love you too, sister.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. But I love that sacred space because it doesn't have to look the same. It can be painting nails, it can be a charcoal mask, and a lot of it for me anyway. And it can be different for everybody. Um, it has to do a lot with self care and things
Yeah.
that I find fun for me. So, artistic expression, that's a big one for me because sometimes
Biggie. Mm-hmm.
words don't cut it. you
Mm-hmm.
know you have to do the splash art, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. um I ramble about pie, it, Scotty, sweet tooth coming through. um and I would say the most powerful affirmation, at least coming from a very dark place, because being very psychic and very gifted, I was shamed a lot because people didn't understand it. Shame is you are a bad person. Okay.
And
But
you're
I
not
am
normal.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on a dryer, city in Illinois, drive through. Um, but I tell myself a lot, I am worthy. I am worthy. And there's
Yep.
nothing wrong with me. Am I perfect? No. But we focus on progress, not perfection. Because
Hmm.
if you focus on perfection, that's its own negative feedback loop.
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, I'm digging
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Digging it. All right, couple more sentences and we can move on for a minute. Let's see. Our reality is in our control. Thank you, Spirit. Claiming my truth. That was big. And instead of, ooh, this is a good one too. Thank you, Spirit. So for a long time, I would receive whatever I watched, whoever I talked to, good or bad. And I was probably about 23, somewhere around there, a couple years ago. And I had somebody,
Oh, do tell.
I know, I know. But I had somebody tell me, and it was just this random stranger out of nowhere. And I'm like, yeah, that was spirit. But they said, if you can reject a compliment, you can reject an insult.
That is
Absolutely. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I like that.
So for me, that's
Right
part of
on.
claiming my truth, claiming my worthy, claiming my divine birthright, claiming my right to be here. Because it took a soul contract for me to
Yeah.
come through the, is that a freight train? No, that's the world. Hello,
You
everybody.
want me in that tiny itty bitty space? What?
Oh my gosh. My mother was like, finally, squatter. Um, let's see. And then
Squatter.
I know it. I was a little baby. Let's see. Oh, here's the cheese on the cracker, if you will.
Okay.
Um, recently, I've had people that they're still embracing the version of what I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Yep.
I talk to them, I feel the conversation is pointed at the 27-year-old me. And that
Mm-hmm.
was a couple years ago. But it just part of me is angry
Mm-hmm.
because they're still engaging with someone who no longer exists. And part of me feels sorry for them
Hmm.
because since they've chosen to embrace limitations and judgment and everything else that comes along with people I don't necessarily connect with, I love them. But if you're making me feel like garbage, I have to boundary you. It's not
Mm-hmm.
personal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to type out or write out what I'm feeling, unadulterated, no spelling, no grammar, just type, 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 go, 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 just go. Because I pay too much to tear up the things that I own, even though it's
Mm-hmm.
very tempting, still is. But you can use your frustration and your anger to your advantage, but not camping there.
Yeah.
And it's so challenging sometimes, especially when you're dealing with family.
Mm-hmm.
Especially family that has no idea who you are now.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Um,
They don't
but
see your evolution.
no,
Nope.
and I hate to say
And they
it, and
don't acknowledge it.
I hope
Some of
I'm
them.
wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they're capable of. They're so enamored with the concept of who,
Mhm.
they
Mm-hmm.
remember me to be, and then I have to flip the script, like Teresa said. Flip
Mm-hmm.
the script and be like, I'm going to send them love and I'm going to focus on the positive, although it's frustrating and it makes me sad. But it's just like, I have a choice. I don't have to sit at that table and listen to them yammer about their limitations. I can say, I love myself enough to consider this proposal next year, if
Mm-hmm.
I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But type it down, write it down. And when you're typing and you're writing, the one thing, and I love Terry Ryan, everybody knows I'm the president of his fan club. But what he would tell me is, what are you feeling and why? And if you're going to employ some raw emotion like anger, the counterbalance for me is the raw truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
when you're dealing with intensity, you have
Yep.
to meet it with intensity of a higher frequency.
There
So
you
if you're
go.
dealing with
Mm-hmm.
anger of intensity, it's like, here comes some truth of some intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Superman punch, Jeff
Mm-hmm.
Dunham
Yeah.
and Oreos.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
But
I love that.
it's practice too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me. I mean, I hope it's easier for other people, because I was in love with my anger for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
My
But a
sister
lot
says
of,
it's like a warm blanket.
oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh. But
Yeah.
I'm like, it, it sabotages my service
Mm-hmm.
if I stay there. And sometimes I'm thinking spirit allows things to unfold that are like, have you learned?
Mm-hmm.
Can you use it to
Yeah.
help other people now? Or do you need to wrestle with it some more? Because even if you wrestle with it, a dozen times, as long as you're gaining some ground, you
Mm-hmm.
can put that in your playbook to be that hand in the darkness to someone else.
Yeah.
So it's not all futile.
Mm-hmm.
But
Go ahead, Teresa.
I like a lot of what you're saying here, Sophia. You've touched on so many aspects of all of it. I think, thank you, sister. I think that we all operate. Most humans have a tendency to operate under assumptions,
oh geez, right?
and so we buy into a lot of false beliefs over time as we're maturing and developing and growing as into adults. So when you allow assumptions, when you make assumptions, you're allowing a portal of darkness to come through. And what I mean by the darkness is not evil, but it's the negativity that keeps you at that lowest vibrational level,
Mm-hmm.
where you can't really
Dangerous.
achieve the level of awareness that you're meant to achieve. And it's because we assume too much, and we pin people, we put them in boxes, and we have certain definitions about them or impressions about them from early on. And so we tend to hold that space and hold them in that space instead of recognizing their divinity, their growth, and their ability to change. And so the next time, and then you, like we were talking about last week, we hold that memory of some not so good moments, and we assume what they're going to think, what they're going to feel, how they're going to act, and how they're going to behave.
It's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
have to really let go of expectations.
Hmm.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge part of healing yourself and laying a foundation for thankfulness. Because once again, and the other thing is, I used to be, people used to say, you're an excellent judge of character. Because, as a professional, I worked in HR, and I had to interview people and put them and team them up with other people. And I had to know how they worked and how they operated and how their personality would fit in. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
so that became a habitual process for me. So even when I met up with people in a party, whether it was business related or not, I was not judging, evaluating their, what I thought they were capable of. And somewhere in time, I lost the ability to be objective to the extent that I could approach people and see them the way I always wanted to see them, which was always their better side first. Okay. In other words, you could sit down in a job interview with somebody, and you're interviewing a person, and they got tattoos all over their body, their hair is spiked out, and they want to come work for this agency that, everybody's wearing a suit and a tie, and everybody's behaving in a certain way. And so you're sitting there going, where is he going to fit in? You're not really looking at his skills. His skills are off the chart, but you're judging him based on his outward appearance. And so we tend to judge the externals more than the internals, or we tend to not be accepting of a person's externals. It's the same thing with situations and events, or politics.
Mm-hmm.
So You have, so part of emotional maturity and part of spiritual maturity is getting yourself to the point where you're not making these assumptions, not setting full expectations, but you're also not looking for the worst in a person. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking for the better in the person.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to reflect back on you.
Yeah, very true. And as you gain control over your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings, pretty
Yeah.
soon you get to a point where nobody can make you feel any way you don't want to feel. And
Yes.
that is super, super important because,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes someone will say, well, I don't want to make you feel bad. Well, don't worry about it because you can't make me feel bad unless I allow you to make me feel bad. And I'm not going to do that because that's not who I am or where I want to be.
They don't have
Mm-hmm.
the power.
And when you go through this stuff and you do the work on yourself and you learn about self-love and self-worth and all that, you start placing more importance on your own feelings and
Yeah.
emotions and feelings and thoughts. And nobody can touch you. Nobody
Yeah.
can touch you unless you allow it. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
really important.
Yeah.
And, a lot of us are going to be sitting down at a table with family members. You may only see them once a year. You might have interactions all the time. Everyone's on different levels. And things can get a little shaky at those dinners. And people's emotions, some people will wear their emotions on their sleeve. There's alcohol involved. There's all kinds of things going on. And what a test to sit there and observe people and go, I see doubt. I see fear. I see anger. I see resentment. And just observe it, but don't play into the game.
Yeah. Sophia, were you going to say something when you had
Well,
your hand up?
yeah, one thing that came forward, and this is Havamal, which is sayings of the high one, sayings of the one-eyed. There's, and I've said this in other shows, do not give place to unreasonable people. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that all of us at one time or another have navigated someone who is unreasonable. And if someone is habitually unreasonable or ignorant of their own unreasonable activities,
Mm-hmm.
it's I reserve the right to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I'm
in
responsible.
control. I'm the one in control. I'm in control of my emotions, my feelings, and my thoughts. You're not. What you
Right.
think about me is not my business. That's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're thinking doesn't mean it's true because the truth is within me already. I know
Right.
my truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I'm solid in myself. I can stand tall and just be and see it for what it is and then create those boundaries and not allow things like that to come into my now because I don't want to deal with that. It's not. How is this serving me? How is this positive? Where's
Right.
the positive energy? If
Mm-hmm.
there's no positive energy, I don't want to play. I don't want to play.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of it, and I don't want anything to do with it.
I think as far as like this time of year and staying thankful as much as possible is realizing I have a choice. I can choose different programming. I can release limitations that some of them for me are part of my framework.
Mm-hmm.
It was how I was raised, you know, and it can be a process to release what no longer serves me, to not
Mm-hmm.
crave that endorphin rush when somebody's like, oh yeah, that's awesome, that's great. You
Yeah.
don't have to appreciate me for
Mm-hmm.
me to be grateful and have gratitude. It would be nice,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the netherworld would freeze over 10 times, but I
How
it's
can you respect others when you don't
Yeah.
respect yourself? You have to have self-respect before you can respect anybody else.
Right. And there's a set of lenses,
Uh-huh.
we tend to view. It's how you view. I think it was Jazzy who mentioned a while ago about abundance. If you don't recognize and value the things that you've accomplished and already have, and you're only concentrating on what you think you're lacking, and you're not thankful or gratitude or have gratitude for your own self, for your own accomplishments and what you've achieved, then all you're doing is seeing yourself through a negative set of lenses. Yes, it's the difference between putting on a pair of clear vision glasses and sunglasses. And it's like when I was at my worst of depression or anxiety, particularly during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, particularly during Christmas, during these holidays, depression sets in, anxiety sets in, especially if you're alone and without family or friends. But if you're just looking at your life and saying, with a checklist of all the things that have gone wrong, all the things that snowballed out of control,
Focus too much on negative.
all the failed relationships,
Mm-hmm.
the longing to, I wish I could have, I should have, I would have, I could have. The language that you're using is a spell that you're casting on your own
Words have meaning.
thoughts. And so take a look at, well, look at what I accomplished. I had this award, I achieved that award, I had this certificate, I helped these people, I did all the, see, find that balance of and you will find out that abundance, it's a new definition of abundance. It's not about wealth in terms of finances, although that could be an indicator, but it's about the enrichedness that you've enriched your own life with along your journey. And it's finding gratitude and appreciation for your own sense of achievement. I love it when Lori says, give yourself a Mickey Mouse pat on the back, because people don't do that enough. They don't reward themselves enough. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I like you because you stand for this, or you stood for that, or you created a program where people are benefiting. But we don't give ourselves credit where credit's due. So there's an emotional bank account, and we're not making deposits into our own emotional bank accounts.
I like
and
that.
So we get this mindset, and so the abundance that you can allow yourself to appreciate is not everything that went wrong in your life, but everything that's led you up to this moment now. And concentrating on those good things. I went into business. I had a great business. Then it started going south. That's okay. I recreated it. I redefined it. I brought it out of the fire like Phoenix rising from the ashes. I created a different business from that. Well, that didn't work out for a while financially in the long run. So then I spun off into do something else. So you put your heart, your soul, and your energy into things that you are passionate about, and you might not always profit from them in the way that you thought you would. But in the end, you look at your life and you evaluate, well, boy, did I learn a lot in that situation. Look at what, and then a situation arises in the future and you're able to handle it because you did go through the crap in the past. So you can let go of that in a positive way and make it work for you. It's all how you evaluate abundance. And I think that's what thankfulness is about. Go ahead.
Yes,
Sophia.
agreed. You're right.
I agree
You have a
with
point.
that 100%, Teresa. I feel people, a lot of us that have let go of limitations, we now are able to enjoy freedoms where other people, it confronts their structure, so they shut themselves down to new opportunities before they get started. I see exactly what you're talking about there. I appreciate that. I would say this was, I was doing some wrestling, if you will, a couple nights ago. And the one thing that really, where the gods showed up, was my faith in the gods of the North, and the rituals and the communion and everything that goes along with that. They were there to support and comfort me when the physical people were not. But yet those physical people judged me for my interactions. And in some ways, since they don't understand it, then there's that fear that starts
Mm-hmm.
coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And after, I shed some tears, at least not on camera this time. Yes. Um, I could feel the God stepping forward
Mm-hmm.
and being like, you came into this world alone. You're going to leave this world alone. You don't
Mm,
need them.
Mm-hmm. And that's really poignant.
truth. Mm-hmm.
All relationships, no matter what kind of relationship you have, whether it's a relationship with a business, a person, a place, a thing, whatever's going on in your life, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end to that relationship.
Temporary.
Nothing is going to last forever except your infinite soul and the
True.
light that you are, and the being that you are, the spiritual being having, I used to say a spiritual being having a physical experience, but now I really believe it's a spiritual being having a spiritual experience,
Mm-hmm.
because we're in the earth school. And it's really, really important to know your worth, know who you are, stay in alignment with truth, do
Mm-hmm.
things from a heart space, from love, do those basic things. If you just apply that in your life, things will shift and change in ways you never thought possible.
Right. Right. Amen to that.
So it's incredible what you're capable of doing if you just would apply yourself and do the work. The work is really important. And Spirit says that if you do the work, they can meet you halfway, because you've got to raise that vibration. If you don't raise the vibration, they can't meet you in the middle. They
That's
can't
right.
help you
That's
as
right.
much. And it's not enough to say, hey, I need some help, Spirit. You have to show Spirit you're serious, right,
Yeah.
Sophia?
Right.
You got to
Yeah.
do the work. You got to show them, look, I'm serious and I want this help. And
Mm-hmm.
once you do that, things shift, they move, they start to bend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the blockage, another piece of the thing that sets people back, and I know I've been here. I
Mm-hmm.
quoted, I think I started to quote, or I was telling you about Soren Kierkegaard,
Mm-hmm.
um, talking about the most painful state of being is remembering the future. People in humans tend to vibrate at a point where they're always setting up expectations of what they want to become or where they want to move into based on past experiences. And if their view of the past experiences aren't positive, they're trying to find a way to create something to move into. And they get such a mindset about how happiness will become from them, this vision that they have, that they stick to it. And so they're stuck to this one vision and they can't change and they can't budge from it. And then when they can't, and they're working towards it, and they can't achieve it. And then they fall into the anxiety, the depression. And so they're not grateful. And
Forcing
so
things is problematic. You're just
forcing a
creating
square peg
more
into a round
blocks.
hole.
Yeah, you're
And they'll
creating
say,
more
well, what are
blocks.
you telling me? I can't have dreams. I can't have visions. I can't. Oh, no. Nobody's saying that's not what Kierkegaard was saying. What
Mm-hmm.
he was saying is don't live in a false expectation or set your goals that so high that they don't achieve precisely what you wanted. Be flexible along the way. Go with the flow.
Seeing the truth. Seeing the truth.
And
And
so
knowing the truth. Yeah.
when I used to work a suicide hotline when I was at Maryland University, and the people would call in, and these are the things that they would talk about is, I'm supposed to become this brilliant lawyer or this brilliant doctor, and my parents are spending all this money on my tuition, and this is what I'm supposed to be, and I'm supposed to have a home by the time I'm 30, and they just go on and on and on with all of this kitchen sink full of
Expectations for
expectations.
you. Mm-hmm.
They're failing their current classes, or they're failing their current relationships, and they're basing everything in their future on the failures that are going on right now, or what they perceive to be failures from the past. And so if you can get them into thinking, you're setting yourself up for a trap. You're setting yourself
They're
up for a
sitting in
trap,
their own programming and they're pulling
Mm-hmm.
you in with
and
it.
it's going to become cyclical.
Negative
Mhm.
feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's going to become cyclical. So if you can get them to think, hey, what have you accomplished? What's good about what you've accomplished? Not what's bad, but what's good about what you've accomplished. Are you happy with what you're doing right now? And why do you think you need to stay in that if you're not happy? Drop that class. You can monitor another class or you can pick up an elective later. Drop it if it's not making you happy, if it's not bringing you value.
That's just going right with following your passions. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong with following your passions.
right.
And if you don't follow your passions, you're not going to be a very happy person.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But
switched
that
my
comes,
major 3 times.
yeah. Well, you have to remember that generation and how programmed they were from
Oh
their
man.
parents and their past. And
Mm-hmm.
so you come in as a second wave, like Dolores Cannon talks about, you come in as a second wave. And, for me, it's like the silent generation was just before me. I'm a baby boomer. And I got the
Yeah,
silent generation going, hey, we don't have to do it that way anymore.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We can make some positive changes. We can do things differently. We don't have to do this anymore. And
Right.
that's the mindset you could have when you're thinking
Yeah,
about your own evolution and expansion. It's just
exactly.
you're constantly going through it, and you're going to be somebody different tomorrow, and the next day, and
Hmm.
the next day, and the next day.
Supposed to change. That's the
That's
part
right.
that slays me is
Hmm.
Yeah,
when people get so, you know,
yeah,
structured and stuck and rinse repeat.
Hmm.
And then they wonder why they're miserable and they wonder why things that used to give them joy don't give them joy anymore. It's kind of like trying to wear the same pair of jeans that you wore in high school. I mean, great if you can still wear them, but
Hmm.
you're supposed to change. Things are supposed to
Yeah,
evolve.
and
And
that's the hardest thing for people to
mhm,
do is to change. They don't embrace the change. And
right.
change can be hard. It can be hard. It can be
Very.
supposed
extremely
to be
difficult.
though.
It's supposed to be
Right.
challenging. But this is a
Right.
master school. We're in the
Uh-huh.
master's academy. We're
That's
not
right.
supposed to, we're not in
We are in the
elementary
Master's
school.
Academy. Yes, we are. And I'll tell
Yeah,
you
It's
what, I
supposed,
want to graduate.
we
I'm
right,
will, and we're gonna
darn
elevate.
determined. Yeah. I don't want to leave this world with any baggage or
yeah.
any of that stuff. And I've cleared a lot of karma. I've made big
Hmm.
changes in my life. I'm in a much better spot than I have been in a long time. I'm embracing each and every day. I'm
Yeah.
focusing on being positive. I'm being as helpful as I can to friends and family. It's really important. And think about this too. If you guys, some of you have been watching since the very beginning, and we just celebrated in October 4 years of
Yeah.
broadcasting this show. And look at the evolution that we ourselves, Teresa and I and Sophia, over
Yeah.
these past 4 years, how much we've grown and how much we've learned and
Hmm.
how much we've shared.
Hmm.
Just, we are leading by example. And that's what you really got to
Yeah.
remember is nothing lasts forever except your infinite soul. Everything else
Well,
is
that comes down
expires.
to people get tired of hearing we're living in the now.
Uh-huh.
And some people say, well,
Well, that's all you really
the
have.
now is really the past because of each second that ticks away, your
Well,
now is
man
past.
created time. Man created the
The
illusion
concept
of
of
time.
but
Right.
the
Yeah.
implication is that by focusing on the present, and the present could be this week, this month,
Mhm. Mhm.
this year of my life,
Mhm.
by focusing on the present and putting your
Focus
energy
on what makes you happy.
on what brings you instead of living in a future that's false
Mhm.
that you're building up in your mind as a trap
And the
or living
expectation
in
of
the
it.
past which was history,
It's
ancient
gone. It's long
history.
gone. It's
It's
over
got
with.
to
Life
just
moves
deal with
on.
day to day,
Mhm. Yep.
day to day, minute to minute. For sometimes it'll feel like it's minute to minute, sometimes it'll feel like it's hour to hour, and sometimes it's day to day.
Mhm.
But
Depends on what
whatever
you're
that
cracking
day,
off.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's I think is the key to what they mean by practicing gratitude
Mhm.
is living in the moment to your passion and giving yourself credit where credit's due and not dwelling on because I have a family member who is never happy.
Mm.
It's always, oh my God, what's going to happen? Or, what's happening next?
Always expecting the
Always
worst
expecting the worst
and
in every
prepared for the worst.
situation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just have never been that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've had doubts or like, how am I going to do this financially? Oh, geez. Oh, wow. How am I going to make that work? But it's not like, oh my God, oh no, I won't be able to make it. But people live in this constant state of fear or this constant state of worringness to the extent that they're not happy unless they are.
And that projects that fear energy, and that's exactly what you're going to get a lot more of.
Mm-hmm.
It can
So
be
if you're
habitual.
able to flip your script and say, stop and
Yeah.
think about it, take the emotion out of it, and figure out a solution. It's oftentimes it's just about figuring out a viable solution to your situation.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get a lot of help with that. Sometimes you don't. But you find
And
a
how
way.
does
You
that
find a
relate
way through
to
it
how does that relate to thankfulness and gratitude?
by accepting your
of it.
situation.
By acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a formula. There's almost a mathematical or numerological
Mm-hmm.
formula to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I was sharing with you a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes back to love. So if you say love, unconditional love equals forgiveness, acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, what was it?
Courage, confidence,
Courage, confidence, all of the
willingness to change. Mm-hmm.
You see plus all that, you add it
Mm-hmm.
all up, and then you divide by love times 100,
Mm-hmm.
or actually you divide it by thankfulness
Mm-hmm.
times 100. That's how you have a formula for being. So it's like a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
People say, "Oh no, love's the foundation." Well, if you can't be thankful or can't be accepting and find the gratitude in the current.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this, Teresa. What is it in your life at this very moment? What are you truly, truly thankful for? What are the things that are in your life and things that are happening now that you're just so thankful for?
I'm thankful for you.
Ditto.
Oh.
I'm
Ditto.
thankful. I'm
Nice.
thankful for this program and my fellow panelists on this team. Those that have
Mhm.
come, those that have gone, those that have cycled through it. I'm thankful for this community.
Mhm.
And I'm thankful because without this, I don't think I would have been able to learn how to express things on this level,
Mhm.
to evolve and to grow into what I've become. So I'm very grateful of who I've become and the direction that I'm headed in,
Mhm.
and the ability to overcome certain obstacles and situations that I never thought were possible because I thought it was over with.
And you're navigating them in a much
Yeah.
healthier way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're treating yourself and your body with respect and love that it deserves.
That's right.
You're no longer sitting in a space where
Yeah.
you don't have that thankfulness and gratitude for yourself.
And
It's
I'm
so much
thankful.
easier to do it for others than it is for yourself,
Yes,
right?
but I couldn't. The thing is I couldn't accept the noetic experiences
Uh-huh.
for what they really were until I found this truth within myself. And so when the more I've uncovered and the more I've brought to the surface and let go of and now appreciate the value of even the worst case scenarios, I actually see value in the worst case, and help from places totally unexpected. So now that I'm there, I'm easier and more open to spirit, and I channel more. I get more information. I communicate more with different aspects of myself in a positive way. And so it's like a bird just flying free. So I have found freedom. I have found freaking freedom. Finally found freedom
Mhm.
from fear, freedom from
It is
rejection,
freeing.
I don't feel the rejection,
Mm-hmm.
or angry. I'm not angry,
And
and
you're
I'm
you're
taking
not
care of
being pulled
myself.
down by all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so now I
You're not
care about what I put in my
carrying the
body.
weight. Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
This will taste really good, but God, in
yeah,
20 minutes it's in my stomach, and guess where that goes?
yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
I
Well,
see
it's on
fries now. I
chips.
see French
Or
fries now as glue.
yeah,
It's
or
just,
you're like Sophia, where you're like,
yeah,
I don't deny myself anything. If I want a
yeah,
cookie,
No.
I'm eating a cookie. It's all
Yep.
good. It's just,
yeah,
I'm
Yes.
not going to eat the whole damn bag in one sitting, because that's probably
yeah.
not good for me.
Moderation.
There you go.
Moderation.
Yeah.
But all of this adds up to one thing, and it's just I'm thankful for being freaking alive.
Mm-hmm.
And people, now there's people in this community that knew me 4, 5, 6 years ago when I first came in to Scotty Roberts' program with Rocky Stucci, and I was at a very bad place, and people reached out to me. People like Susie Q, Jeannie
Mm-hmm.
Griffin,
Mm-hmm.
Jeannie Griffin, Michelle Cannon Free, Audrey Roden, Leslie Holker.
Michelle
There were
Thompson.
Michelle Thompson. There were different people that
Yeah.
I may not have been here, but now I am, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
better for it.
And you're
And I don't
stronger.
have those thoughts anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and
Good.
I'm free. I'm free.
Yep.
So
And you're
much
the
love
best.
and thankfulness and gratitude to all of you
Mm-hmm.
for helping me on my way. Even those that got me mad at me or frustrated with me or annoyed by me, or thanks for letting go of that and letting me just be me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Appreciate it. Go ahead, Sophia.
Cool. Nicely said, Teresa.
Thank
Teresa, when you were talking about freedom, of course, because birds and what I resonate with, I saw,
you.
this bird flying. And then, because the collective, I feel that we've had to work for our freedom.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Yeah.
to do the work to bring down the strongholds of limitations and limited thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the next thought that came through after that was, I'm not enamored with my cage anymore. First, you have to
Right.
realize that you're navigating limitation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to start vibrating at the frequency of courage, because most cages, they're not locked. You can go in and out of them all you want.
Yeah.
But just some people become enamored with their cages. They really don't
Yeah.
want to experience the freedom. Wow, that's going to
They don't
resonate.
know how. They don't know how to go out the door, even if you open up all 4 doors of the cage. I have a parrot downstairs, and I can open up all the doors. And if that parrot doesn't want to come out, it's not coming out.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
Freedom
right.
is being presented to it, but it doesn't know how to accept the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah.
gently put your hand in, and on a daily basis, you
Mm-hmm.
keep bringing that parrot to the opening until eventually, oh, this is safe. This is safe to come out.
Mhm.
That's something we can do for each other. That's what this community did for me. They all
That's right.
offered me a hand and brought me closer to the doorways, but I have to make the decision to step through.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Every day.
They're not responsible. Now I could physically grab that bird and move it, and I have if I have to take it to the vet, but now it comes out and crawls across the top of the cage, gets on my shoulder, walks around the house with me sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so, but you have to coax people to those openings. Give them an opening. Give them an opportunity, and that's how you can help others. But you're also, when you're doing that, that's a way of practicing gratitude. And people don't think of it that way, but it is, because what you're really doing is you're grateful for what you've been through, and now you're paying it forward, and you're able to help someone else now. And
Yeah,
by doing that, you get to feel that love and that energy flowing through you now to
right.
help someone else. And so you just keep doing that with everyone you meet. Find something good, and if they're struggling, find a way to help them if you can. But you're not
Mm-hmm.
responsible for their feeling the way I do. You're just helping them find a way, but they have to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried. with
Mm-hmm.
certain people, including my own family members, and it's like,
Can't help them if they don't want to be helped. You can't. You can't. You can nudge them.
no,
You can seed plant. You can throw little breadcrumbs and hope they pick up on it. But
yeah,
ultimately, it's their decision, and it is your
yeah,
decision too on what you want to do.
yeah,
When I first started working with my guide, and I got to a level where I felt really good about myself, the thing I really wanted is I wanted to give it back. So how do I kept asking my guide, my spirit guide, who was in physical form at one time, what can I do to help out? What can I do to show my gratitude to the universe? Well, you're going to have a YouTube channel one day. I'm like, what? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to have a YouTube channel and you're going to be able to share it all with others. I was like, whoa, I don't know about that. And
uh-huh.
literally, Eric talked me into doing the Pure Love Ascension, and I started chronicling the ascension process, and it hasn't stopped. And then I
Yeah,
met Teresa and some others, and Brian and Sophia, and all these beautiful people from Indiana. What a great place to live. I mean, everyone I've met from Indiana is just incredibly open. They don't live in the box. They've
they might
tossed
as
the
well be
lid open.
Australians because they're the same as the Australians, aren't they?
They've got great sense of humor. They're loving and kind. I mean,
Yeah,
those are the kinds of things I'm appreciative. And I didn't
yeah,
really expect to be on here with a panel and a bunch of other people. I was just kind of doing my thing. But I am so grateful that not only to the people that are on the show and the panel and friends and family and all of that, but I really greatly appreciate the audience and the people that come in to listen and
yeah,
to see what this is all about. And you may not resonate with everything we say. That's okay. We get it. We don't resonate with what most everybody says either. But when we do and we come together, we realize it's out of love and respect. And that is so important. And also, I really, really appreciate the silent people that are just sitting back watching. They know who we are, but we don't know who they are. And I love that because I love that you're sitting there
that's
watching
right.
this
Yeah,
and you're
that's cool.
absorbing this information and you're going, that's something to think about,
Yeah,
and you're actually making some changes within yourself. That's the cool part. So
yeah,
I
that
love that.
is. Do you
Yeah.
all know? Have you all heard of a singer by the name of Rita Ora?
I don't think so.
Ora. She
Mm-mm.
was in a movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but I think Morgan Freeman was in it. But there was this song that I heard playing on the radio, and this about sums it up. I'm going to read it real quick. It's a
Okay.
it's in the form of a poem right now because the song just goes on and on. But it's called "Grateful,"
Mm-hmm.
and the movie had an overall theme of Thanksgiving, not the Thanksgiving holiday, but just the giving of thanks for an appreciation for for what you who you are. And so this really okay. Now, Sophia,
Yes.
no crying, dear. No, just kidding.
Let me go get my rubber ducky.
There's no
Yeah, get your
crying in
rubber ducky.
spirituality.
There's no crying in spirituality.
There's a lot of crying in spirituality. I don't know what book you read, but mine's tattered with tears.
But here we go. There were a lot of tears I had to cry through. A lot of battles left me battered and bruised. And when I was shattered, had my heart ripped in two, I was broken. There were a lot of times I stumbled and crashed when I was on the edge, down to my last chance. So many times when I was so convinced that I was over. But I had to fall to rise above it all. I'm grateful for the storm, made me appreciate the sun. I'm grateful for the wrong ones, made me appreciate the right ones. I'm grateful for the pain, for everything that made me break. I'm thankful for all my scars because they only make my heart grateful. I was sinking, I was drowning in doubt. The weight All of the pain was weighing me down. Pulled it together, and I pulled myself out, learned a lesson. Grateful, grateful, grateful. That pretty much sums up my life too.
Yeah.
And I think many of us.
Grateful for the
Whether
good and the bad. Yeah.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but it reminded me of you, Sophia, and what you've shared with us.
Yeah, it's a
That
process.
song really reminded me of you,
Mm-hmm.
and
Thank you.
You've
so I see
shifted
that
so
reflection
much.
of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
I relate.
You're so much
Can't.
stronger now.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
you are.
self-assured. You have courage, determination. You've really changed a lot. Not that you weren't in a good place, but you really needed this experience, and it has made
Yes.
you grown and become a much better version of yourself. You really are.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for you coming on the show and being here with us every week. And when you
Yeah,
can, sometimes you can't, and that's
yeah,
understandable. But you always love and support us. And I just want to
absolutely.
thank you for that because it is deeply, deeply appreciated. And I have so much love and gratitude in my heart for you.
That's right.
And not just you, but everyone that participates on the show, the Adorables, Hannah, Zach, everyone that is, Trina, the Soul Tribe, Robert V, all of you guys, Pajo,
Yeah,
Regina. I mean, everyone. I'm just very thankful and
yeah,
grateful for you. And what an honor and a pleasure to be a part of your now, and you to be a part of my now is it's you can't, it's so hard to express, but thank you.
that's right. Thank
Thank you
you.
for that.
I have
Yeah.
a little something I'd like to share.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um, Before COVID showed up and turned everybody's life upside down,
Hmm.
Spirit was actually working with me, to be out of my Zen den, to interact, with the readings and the healing circles and whatnot. And they had, meditation and journaling, brought up, a YouTube something to the effect. My friend Shannon, that I was spending quite a bit of time, was like, you can do it, you can do it. And we would have Zoom conversations, and I was just like, I feel I can do it, but I just don't feel that I'm to that point yet. And then what was it, like a year or so later, Grandpa Brian comes up to me in the healing circle and says, "Hey, do you want to be on a YouTube show?" And I'm like, Spirit, it was gonna
Man,
manifest.
they just will not let you slip, slide, or do any of that, will they? They're like, you're gonna
No,
do this.
no.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
the other thing about that is, because I've watched the first show when there was like 12 of you guys up here. I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot of people, but it worked. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just how the show is metamorphosed over
hmm,
time.
We've
And
evolved.
and we
yes, but
changed it and evolved it as other individuals on the program changed and
Mm-hmm.
evolved too.
Mm-hmm.
well, the thing that I'm getting at here is the fact that you go to the next level, and instead of resting on your laurels, you push, you continue, and I can feel it, and I pray for you guys, because this every week it's just like go go go, crank crank. I mean, I'm lighting candles. I'm like, let's go, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And just the consistency, not so much predictability other than, the cyclical Friday night thing, but it's just like, use them, Spirit, use
Mm-hmm.
them, give it
Yeah,
to them. And it's just like continuing, all of us, even in chat, and the people that aren't pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, because we know that
yep,
is the only way we're going to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's that northern node. It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
yeah,
there's my comfort zone. You don't have to stay out of it all the time, but at
Mm-hmm.
least push on the edges to be like, what new experience
exactly.
awaits for
Yeah.
me. And the only
Yep.
way you're going to find it is to
Mm-hmm.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
both for your
oh,
Oh,
thank
kind
you,
you.
words.
thank you for
Mm-hmm.
that,
Oof,
Sophia. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
powerful.
It
Powerful.
is. It
Mm.
is.
Mm-mm.
And see how much your energy shifts when you're in that state of gratitude and thankfulness? Don't you just feel the
Yeah.
difference in your energy and how important that is? I mean, I remember lying there and telling spirit in my mind, use my body as an open vessel for the light.
Mm.
I will serve the light and I will do my best
Yeah.
in any way I possibly can. So it has been most satisfying and gratifying. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm retired. I don't have to worry much about the financial stuff, which I'm truly
Good.
grateful for, and I'm setting pretty good.
Good.
Um,
You deserve it.
so that I can focus on this. And I believe spirit had a lot to do with helping me get there. And not only that, I have an amazing family and a support system that doesn't quit. And so, but you can be that support system for yourself too. And so keep that in mind as well. But yeah. So guys, we're coming to the end of the show.
My baby.
And there's Ruby.
I got
Sweet
a
little
wet ear.
Ruby. Did you get you got
I
a
got
wet
a wet
noodle?
ear.
Okay. Keep that to yourself.
Gotta go out. Gotta go out.
Yeah. It's time. It's time. Well, listen, everyone, we're not going to be here next week because that's Thanksgiving. We
Taking a
hope you
break.
all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and really absorb what we talked about today and utilize some of those tools and see what you can do to shift your family and yourself and see how that makes a difference. I think you'll be surprised with how that works out and plays out. And also thanking yourself, being respectful and sending lots of love to yourself is so important. Yep, you got it. Feed the mind and expand that soul, that love in your heart. So it is. And the other person I wanted to thank very much was Brian Barnett. I want to thank Brian Barnett. He's been coming into meditation and he's very pleased with the way things are going and that there's an outlet and that we're kind of carrying that on. Just as Robert V is doing the same thing with Milky Way. We've done our own version, and I'm glad that we were able to do that. And he sparked that in me. I know he sparked it in Robert V. So thank you, Robert V, for all you do. And guys, don't forget Saturday night, he's got a show as well. So make sure you're subscribed to him. Also, too, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you haven't commented, please let us know who you are and that you appreciate the show. It would be I'd be so thankful if you would do that. That would be wonderful.
Sophia, any announcements for you coming up? Anything going on in your park?
I love your face forever, man. Thanks for that. Let's see. I'm reading at the shop every Sunday, all my relations through the first week of April. So my elusiveness has been curtailed until the beginning of April. We have the online Monday night offerings with the foundational tarot. And I'm launching Zoom into the Runes, which is similar. It's on the alternate Mondays. So a lot of confidence building type things to where you don't have to Google it, which I still encourage. There's certain readings I get and I'm like, oh shit, spirit. Oh, sorry. Oh, stuff, spirit. Let's see what's going on. And then let's see, we have the psychic fair Sunday night online for Camp Chesterfield. What else? The Wednesday night healing circle at the shop. I know I'm forgetting something, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about that, because talk about out of your comfort zone. Whoa.
Well, the Zoom classes alone are extremely valuable.
Well, it's too cold, and I don't want to drive in that garbage with people that think they know how to drive. So let's stay home and have our little metaphysical parties and, in our pajamas. Let's go.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yep. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. It was fun. It was very relaxing. I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Spread the love, spread positivity, and be all you can be. We love you
Right.
all, and we'll see you after Thanksgiving. All right. Take
We
care,
love
and
you.
peace and love for everybody.
Bye, everyone.